At 3:10 a.m., the screen of my phone illuminated the room, bathing our bedroom in an unsettling blue light. After hours of gazing at the ceiling, the notification arrived like a breath of fresh air. Once upon a time, there was a car insurance app that sent a straightforward notification. Our Mercedes had been resting in the downtown area for more than 3 hours. Strange, considering both vehicles were meant to be parked in our garage. My husband Damon rested beside me, enveloped in a serene slumber. His chest rose and fell, a gentle cadence that spoke of a life unburdened by worries. I observed him for a while, contemplating whether to rouse him, yet an unseen force held me back. Quietly, I eased myself out of bed and made my way down to the garage. The spot where his polished black Mercedes often rested was vacant, simply void. "That's impossible," I murmured softly, the chill of the concrete floor biting into my bare feet. As the clock struck 7 p.m., Damon stepped through the door, returning from a long day at work. We shared a meal, enjoyed a film, and settled in for the night around 11. He never spoke of any plans to go anywhere. I ascended the stairs, each step dragging behind like a reluctant whisper, my body aware of a truth my mind was not yet ready to confront. I glanced at the hook by the front door, the familiar spot where our keys always hung. My set lingered in the air. It didn't happen for him. In the quiet of our bedroom, I took a moment to observe Damon with greater attention. The bedding on his side was meticulously arranged, pillows placed with precision, just as he always did when he wanted me to believe he was still asleep. There lay a cozy formation of pillows, mimicking the shape of a body, nestled beneath our warm comforter. My hands shook with anticipation as I drew back the covers to reveal the truth I had sensed all along. Soft cushions. Only cushions occupy the space where my husband belongs. Perched on the edge of the bed, I held my phone tightly, my gaze fixed on the map displayed in the insurance app. Once upon a time, a little blue dot marked the spot where a car rested by the serene lakefront, nestled among luxurious condos in a peaceful enclave. A place that felt all too familiar. It was the place that Melissa called home. Once upon a time, there was a character named Melissa, my closest companion for a decade and a half. The very Melissa who had stood by me during college heartaches, who had celebrated with me as my maid of honor, who had cared for me with soup when I was battling pneumonia last winter. The same Melissa who had been behaving oddly in recent times, skipping our regular coffee meetups and showing an unexpected curiosity about my marriage. "What's the latest with Damon?" Just last week, she had posed the question, her gaze lingering just shy of mine. "Are you all still feeling joyful?" What had appeared to be a simple inquiry back then. I began to explore my messages from Damon. "What tales do you have to share about your whereabouts?" Next, we turn our attention to Melissa. "Are you awake?" There was silence on both fronts. With a sense of unease, I clutched my keys tightly and slipped on my jacket, feeling a whirlwind of emotions churning inside me. The summer night wrapped around me with warmth, yet an icy chill coursed through my veins. With trembling hands, I turned the key in the ignition, the GPS guiding me toward the blue dot on my insurance app. My journey with Melissa began back in our sophomore year of college. It was 7 years ago, at a campus party, that I first crossed paths with Damon, while sharing a living space with my roommate. On that unforgettable night, she was tucked away, a silent observer alongside the photographer he had brought along for the momentous occasion. She guided me in choosing the perfect wedding dress for my special day. She held the essence of my life, the hidden truths, the vulnerabilities, and the aspirations I had ever confided. The streets lay silent under the watchful glow of streetlights, casting warm pools of yellow light as I navigated toward a truth I dreaded to confront. Last month, I reminisced about the three of us sharing a meal, recalling how Damon had hung on my every word, while Melissa had chuckled at all his quips. Was there a tale unfolding even at that moment? How long had I been unaware of it? I eased my car to a stop a block from Melissa's building, keeping the headlights dimmed. Damon's Mercedes stood exactly where the app indicated, shining under the streetlight as if it were daring him to approach. As I lingered in that moment, my mind wandered through the possibilities of what could unfold next. Face them head on? Shall we hold off until the dawn breaks? Imagine if I had never stumbled upon this secret meeting under the stars? A gentle vibration stirred in my lap. A narrative from Damon. Rest eluded me. Embarked on a journey behind the wheel. I'll be back shortly. A fabrication. It's quite laid back. It comes so naturally to him. I emerged from my car, the warm summer air failing to dispel the chill that had taken residence deep within me. As I approached Melissa's building, uncertainty lingered in my mind about my next move. In that moment, my gaze fell upon Damon and Melissa, positioned by the entrance of the building. They were not locked in a kiss or wrapped in each other's arms as I had dreaded. Instead, they seemed to be engaged in a heated exchange, their movements charged and expressive even from afar. And then I witnessed it, the glint of metal as Melissa passed Damon his car keys. I crouched low behind a parked van, my heart racing wildly in my chest. They were unaware of my presence. As I observed Damon grab the keys, he uttered a remark that caused Melissa to recoil, her expression one of shock, before he marched off to his car in a huff. With a sharp squeal of tires, he sped away, leaving Melissa solitary beneath the unforgiving brightness of the streetlight. I was on the verge of making my move towards her at that moment, just about. Yet, there was an invisible force that restrained me, the very same intuition that stirred me from my slumber at 3 a.m. A familiar sensation that had been lingering in my mind for weeks. There were deeper layers to this narrative, and I felt compelled to uncover every detail. Rather than facing Melissa, I quietly made my way back to my car and trailed Damon as he drove home. I found a spot down the street and observed him as he drove into our garage. After a pause of 20 minutes, I finally made my way into the house. At that moment, he found himself nestled in the sheets, weaving a tale of having never left the comfort of his slumber. "You're up late," he whispered, his voice thick with sleep, as I stepped into our dimly lit bedroom. Rest eluded me, I confessed, the partial honesty leaving a sour taste in my mouth. Embarked on a journey behind the wheel. His eyes slowly opened at that moment, scanning my face in the shadows. "Is everything all right?" "Absolutely not." A surge of emotion welled up inside me, begging for release. "Everything feels off," but instead I replied, "I just needed a breath of fresh air. I'm doing well now." I nestled back into bed next to the man I had once placed my full trust in, gazing at the ceiling as I contemplated my next steps. Because one thing was unmistakably evident. At the stroke of midnight, my best friend held my husband's car keys, and from that moment on, everything in my life changed forever. During the following week, I transformed into a version of myself that felt almost foreign. A woman meticulously examined phone records, committed passwords to memory, and calculated bathroom breaks in the hope of catching a fleeting glance at text messages. I found myself in a place of deep dissatisfaction, yet the other options seemed even less appealing. Facing them without evidence, or even more troubling, persisting in a state of unawareness. Damon behaved just like any other day. Every morning, he would lean in and plant a kiss on my lips before setting off to his financial consulting job. He sent messages during his lunch breaks. On Wednesday, he returned with my favorite takeout, a delightful ritual that never fails to bring a smile. If I hadn't witnessed him outside Melissa's building with my own eyes, I could have easily convinced myself that it was all just a figment of my imagination. Melissa, on the other hand, had her own unique narrative. She called off our monthly girls' night, saying there was a work emergency. When I proposed lunch instead, she found herself overwhelmed with deadlines. For a presence that had been a steady thread in the fabric of my life for 15 years, her abrupt absence echoed with unspoken significance. "Have you had a chance to catch up with Melissa recently?" As we sat down for dinner, I posed a question to Damon, keenly observing his response. His fork lingered in the air, caught in a fleeting moment of uncertainty before he resumed his meal. "Not quite." "What's the reason behind that? Connecting with her has been quite a challenge. I have a feeling that something isn't quite right." Damon shrugged, his gaze fixed intently on his plate, as if it held the secrets of 1,000 tales. "She might simply be caught up in her own world. You're familiar with the way her work unfolds." I was aware. I had always known that Melissa had made time for me in the past. She never faltered, not during the flu, not when deadlines loomed, and certainly not even amidst the turmoil of her divorce 2 years prior. The following day, I decided to take a longer lunch break and made my way to the marketing agency where Melissa held the position of creative director. The receptionist welcomed me with a friendly smile. "Can I find out if Melissa is around?" I inquired, envisioning the delightful scene of a friend unexpectedly arriving with coffee in hand. "Ah, it seems she isn't here today. I believe it's time for a visit to the doctor." Yet another tale spun from deception. The burden of betrayal pressed down more and more, each moment amplifying its heaviness. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Damon finally walked through the door, his excuse for the late hour being that a client meeting had stretched longer than expected. His shirt carried a subtle fragrance that tugged at my memory, a scent I knew well, Melissa's signature aroma, the very one I had a hand in choosing for her birthday celebration last year. As I wrapped my arms around him, my eyes caught a glimpse of a long golden strand resting on his jacket collar. Once upon a time, there was a rich shade of dark brown hair that flowed like a river of chocolate, catching the light in the most enchanting way. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Melissa, known for her beautiful blonde hair. "What adventures did you encounter today?" he inquired, easing his tie and pouring a whiskey, a rare indulgence for him on weeknights. With a focus on sharing insights, I responded honestly. He arched an eyebrow, as if a tale was about to unfold. "Professional matters?" "In a manner," I remarked, observing his expression for any hint of worry. It simply didn't exist. That night, I found myself wide awake next to him, reflecting on all the moments we had shared as a trio. The cookouts in our backyard were filled with laughter as Damon took charge of the grill, while Melissa and I reminisced over glasses of wine, sharing moments that brought us closer together. Last year's trip to Mexico was filled with moments, as Damon captured countless images of Melissa and me enjoying the sun on the beach. 6 months ago, I attended the housewarming party at Melissa's new condo, a moment filled with pride as I introduced her to some of Damon's work friends. Was it unfolding even back then? Was I grinning for the camera while they shared secret looks when I wasn't watching? The following morning, I took a look at our shared credit card statement online. There it stood, waiting to be unveiled. A transaction from a fancy eatery in the heart of the city marked 3 weeks back, on an evening when Damon had mentioned he was putting in extra hours at the office. The proposed dinner for two. I delved deeper and uncovered even more. A jewelry store acquisition that took me by surprise. Charges for hotel parking during his alleged attendance at conferences. A weekend charge at a gas station in a quaint lakeside town 3 hours away, while he had claimed to be on a fishing trip with the guys. Every revelation felt like a new fracture in the very structure of my relationship. A fresh wound from those I held closest to my heart. Later that day, I encountered Melissa's assistant while shopping for groceries. Her expression shifted the moment our eyes met, revealing a sense of unease. "Greetings, Jessica," I said with a friendly tone. "What tales do you have from the agency?" she replied, shifting from foot to foot, her expression a mix of energy and engagement. "You're familiar with the experience." "I certainly do." "Hey, is Melissa still weaving together that grand narrative for the cosmetics client?" She shared that she could use my insights on the demographic research. Jessica's brow knitted in thought. "Are you looking for a cosmetics client?" At the moment, we find ourselves without any beauty brands to share. She has an exciting endeavor lined up with that automotive company. "Ah, I see now," I grinned, tucking this fresh insight into my memory. "I suppose it's just the effects of pregnancy on my mind." Jessica's eyes sparkled with wonder. "Are you expecting a little one?" "Wow, that's amazing! Huge congratulations!" "Oh, I found it quite amusing. I have a little tale about my forgetfulness that might bring a smile." Yet, the harm had already been inflicted. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Damon's demeanor shifted. He became more observant, inquiring about my well-being, proposing to whip up dinner, and encouraging me to relax and elevate my feet. "Is there a special story behind this royal treatment?" I inquired as he presented me with the pasta he had lovingly prepared from the very beginning. "Isn't it a man's duty to look after his wife?" He responded, a grin that seemed to lack genuine warmth. "Jessica from Melissa's office believes I'm expecting," I stated directly, observing his response. His hand paused for a brief moment as he poured the wine, the liquid catching the light in a way that seemed to hold 1,000 untold tales. What do you mean? What could have led her to that conclusion? A humorous tale. Today, I bumped into her and shared a light-hearted joke about pregnancy brain. Whispers spread quickly. Do you find yourself in that place? He inquired, his tone measured and even. Expecting, I mean. Do you think that might be an issue, Damon? Absolutely not, he replied in haste. In the blink of an eye. It would be quite a surprise. Imagine discovering your partner's vehicle parked outside your closest friend's place in the dead of night. I pondered, yet kept it to myself. Instead, I took a sip of my wine and replied, No, I'm not expecting. It's fascinating to observe the impact of potential on your experience. That night, I caught a glimpse of him in the bathroom, his voice barely rising above a tense murmur. I'm unsure of the way forward. No. She kept her thoughts to herself. Choose your words wisely when speaking to others. I understand. Allow me a moment to unravel this mystery. I allowed them the freedom to reveal their true selves, all the while gathering proof beneath a veneer of everyday life. Every day, a piece of me faded away as I shared a quiet moment with the face of a man who had broken my trust. As I sent birthday wishes to a friend who was taking over my life. It was in that moment of revelation, as I opened the safe, that everything fell into place. The place where we stored our passports, social security cards, and my grandmother's treasured jewelry. A beloved blue box had vanished, the one that holds the diamond earrings Damon gifted me to celebrate our 5th anniversary. The earrings that remained tucked away, too precious for the mundane moments of life. The very earrings I had noticed adorning Melissa's ears in her most recent Instagram post, subtly concealed by her hair, yet undeniably recognizable to me. She had woven a narrative around it. Occasionally, the surprises that catch us off guard turn out to be the most valuable treasures. I gazed at that photo for what felt like an eternity, taking in the face of the woman who had comforted me through my tears over past heartaches, who had vowed to stand by me always, and who now wore a smile adorned with the jewelry my husband had gifted me, and seemingly shared with her too. At that instant, a resolve began to take shape within me. Let the sadness fade away. Leave uncertainty behind. There's no longer a need to linger for justifications or regrets that could never truly capture the weight of this treachery. Are you interested in engaging in some fun activities? I leaned in closer to the beaming visage on my display. Come, let us embark on an adventure. When faced with betrayal, the initial principle is to maintain your composure, ensuring they never witness your unraveling. I upheld an impeccable image. Devoted spouse, diligent career woman. Completely unaware, while my thoughts raced, scheming, organizing, and getting ready. It was Melissa who imparted that lesson to me, a twist of fate considering it stemmed from her own experience with betrayal by her ex-husband. She had shared her wisdom over wine and ice cream, cautioning against revealing too much too soon. Collect your insights, fortify your stance, and then make your move when they are caught off guard. I excelled in my studies. My initial action was understated. I reached out to our phone carrier to ask for a comprehensive account of Damon's texts and calls over the last 6 months, citing a billing issue. Holding the main account comes with its perks. The customer service representative seemed unsure until I brought up the potential for fraudulent charges. It's fascinating to see how swiftly collaboration emerges in the wake of legal challenges. The accounts revealed all that was needed to know. Numerous messages and phone calls to Melissa, frequently during the late hours or while he claimed to be with clients. There was a narrative that couldn't be ignored. For at least 4 months, they had been in a steady exchange, sharing moments and experiences. Next, I found myself at my attorney's office, pretending we were there to discuss updating our wills. From my earliest memories, Barbara was the guiding hand of our family's legal journey. Just touching base, I remarked lightly after we wrapped up the formalities. In a hypothetical scenario, one might wonder about the effects of unfaithfulness on the process of divorce in our state. Barbara's gaze sharpened with intrigue. She had been a part of my life since I was just a child of 10. In a hypothetical scenario, she said, taking off her glasses. The outcome hinges on the complexities of finances, the length of the union, and the available proof. Could you share what draws you to this imagined scenario? I revealed to her the phone records, the credit card statements, and the photos I had discreetly captured of the vacant safe where my earrings once rested. "I understand," she replied, her tone gentle. "So, Corinne, what is it that you seek?" "Fairness," I responded with clarity. "And I want my earrings returned." For the next hour, we wove together our plans and ideas, crafting a narrative for our strategy. Barbara proposed the idea of bringing in a private investigator, yet I chose to pass on it. "I am quite familiar with both of them," I shared. "I can gather what we require." As the sun dipped below the horizon, I embarked on the next chapter of my journey. Once I reached out to my brother Quentin, a professional in the world of cybersecurity. "Do you recall that time you suggested installing a home security system for us last Christmas? And Damon declined?" I inquired after reconnecting. "Indeed, he mentioned that it was excessive for your area. I have a different perspective now. I prefer something subtle. Visuals, sound, everything you need. Could you lend me a hand?" Quentin remained silent, picking up on an unspoken nuance in my tone. "Maybe." 2 days later, as Damon went about his day at work and I took a sick day, Quentin transformed our home with cutting-edge security features. Small cameras placed throughout the living room, kitchen, bedroom, and home office. Every moment captured was sent straight to a safe cloud server, accessible solely by me. Quentin shared that these devices are activated by motion and are almost undetectable, powered by batteries, eliminating the hassle of tangled wires. If you ever find yourself in need of assistance with a review, feel free to reach out. I embraced him with all my strength. "Gratitude for your silence on the matter." He spoke with a quiet certainty, emphasizing the bond that holds them together. "No matter the circumstances, you can count on my support." That weekend, I proposed that Damon hit the golf course with his buddies. "You've been putting in so much effort," I remarked, embodying the ideal partner. "It's time for you to take a moment for yourself." As soon as his car rolled away from the driveway, I set my plans into motion. Initially, I duplicated all essential financial papers, financial documents, asset summaries, real estate titles, coverage agreements. Unbeknownst to me, I stumbled upon offshore accounts that held significant amounts, with considerable transfers occurring in the past few months. I captured it all through my lens. As I rummaged through his desk drawer, my fingers brushed against a brochure for a luxury condo development, nestled in the very same neighborhood as Melissa's building. A unit was highlighted in crimson ink, accompanied by annotations regarding funding alternatives. And that was the vision laid out before us. Abandon me, settle close to her, and begin their fresh chapter using my resources. I meticulously restored everything to its original state, ensuring that my inquiry left no evidence behind. Then, the exploration of the digital realm began. Damon's laptop held a secret, locked away behind a password he'd relied on for years. Our wedding date accompanied by his mother's family name. Within the confines of that space, I stumbled upon a series of emails exchanged between him and a realtor, discussing the impending sale of our home, set to be listed in the upcoming month. Whispers floated through the air, revealing exchanges with his investment advisor regarding the subtle art of liquidating specific assets. The emails exchanged between him and Melissa were particularly revealing, filled with fervent details and dreams of their future together. They shared their thoughts on the right moment to reveal the truth, with Melissa championing transparency, while Damon suggested holding off until the financial matters were resolved. "Corinne has complete faith in us both," he had penned down. "She'll remain blissfully unaware of the accounts or my late-night escapades. There's plenty of time to weave everything together just right." As I absorbed those words, realizing how they had turned my trust into a tool for their own gain, a transformation occurred within me. The anguish morphed into a steely determination. Under the cover of darkness, I crafted fresh email accounts and sent myself duplicates of all the damning evidence. I moved a portion of our shared savings into an account that only I can reach, all above board as a partner, as Barbara had verified. It wasn't sufficient to raise Damon's suspicions, but it was just enough to guarantee that I wouldn't find myself in dire straits during the wait for the divorce process to unfold. I reached out to our home insurance provider to confirm the coverage for my grandmother's jewelry. I provided them with the appraisal documents and expressed my worries regarding secure storage. The agent assured us that all was in order, and diligently recorded details in our file. After almost a month of silence, I finally picked up the phone and dialed Melissa's number. "I've missed you," I said when she answered, wrapping my words in a cozy embrace. "I've missed you as well," she responded, her voice filled with heartfelt emotion. "I apologize for my recent absence. The whirlwind of work has been quite something." I nodded in agreement, reassuring her with my words. "That's the reason I'm reaching out. I would appreciate your expert guidance on a matter." "Oh!" The relief in her voice was unmistakable. She believed I was completely unaware. "Damon and I are exploring some investment properties, and I recalled your mention of that development close to your area. How about we gather there sometime next week? What tales do you have about the neighborhood?" "Absolutely," she replied, uncertainty almost imperceptible. "I would be delighted to assist. Absolutely wonderful. How about we choose Tuesday for our plans?" "Oh, and let's make sure this stays just between us. I want to weave a delightful tale for Damon with my research." She nodded in agreement, saying that Tuesday would be just fine. Rest assured, I won't breathe a word to Damon about this. A grin spread across my face as I realized how effortlessly she had stepped right into my scheme, revealing her frequent conversations with my husband. Everything was coming together beautifully. That evening, a bedroom camera recorded Damon speaking softly on the phone, saying, "She wants to meet you at the condos. I doubt she has any idea. Choose your words wisely. We've come too far to let anything go wrong at this point." In the meantime, I kept weaving connections and forging bonds. Under the guise of seeking legal advice on property investments, I found myself reconnecting with Melissa's ex-husband, David. As we sipped our coffee, I artfully guided the flow of our discussion. "I've often pondered," I remarked nonchalantly. "When did you first start to feel that something was off with Melissa?" David's cup halted in midair, suspended in a moment of anticipation. "Who claimed she was unfaithful? Didn't she, though? She shared that your divorce stemmed from drifting away, yet I always felt there was a deeper narrative beneath the surface." He chuckled with a hint of sorrow. "Drifting away while forging a deeper connection with another, perhaps. She embarked on a passionate liaison with her creative director. I discovered it when I noticed charges for hotels on our credit card. That must have been a heart-wrenching experience," I murmured gently. "Did you approach her right away?" "I certainly did. The most significant error I've ever made." She refuted all claims, only to empty our accounts the very next day. If given another chance, I would have taken the time to get ready more thoroughly. I nodded with understanding, tucking away this affirmation of Melissa's recurring theme. "I truly empathize with what you've experienced. Once upon a time," he shrugged, yet his eyes whispered tales untold. "What sparks the curiosity?" "I was merely attempting to grasp some recurring themes," I responded in a roundabout way. "Imagine a scenario where you possess proof of Melissa engaging in comparable actions with another individual. Would you feel inclined to participate in that situation?" His gaze sharpened. Could it be that Damon has found a connection with Melissa that goes beyond friendship? My lack of response spoke volumes, leaving much to the imagination. "Whatever you desire," he declared with conviction. "I'm all in." As Tuesday drew near, I meticulously crafted my final touches. I had a conversation with my boss regarding the potential for a leave of absence, mentioning some family matters. In a thoughtful gesture, I set up a storage unit in my brother's name, carefully transferring cherished belongings and vital documents over time. I arranged meetings with 3 divorce attorneys that Barbara suggested, seeking additional perspectives. Excitedly, I picked out a new outfit for my upcoming meeting with Melissa. Polished and self-assured, adorned with earrings that echoed the style of my absent pair, yet held their own unique charm, enticement for the snare. As the moonlight filtered through the window, I found myself wide awake next to Damon, captivated by the serene expression on his sleeping face. The visage that had captured my heart for 7 long years, the visage that had deceived with such ease. A piece of my heart grieved for what we once shared, or perhaps for the illusion of what I believed we had. Yet there was another side, the more resilient side now, that radiated a calm resolve. "Embrace your dreams," I murmured to his still figure, "for when dawn breaks, the true ordeal will unfold." Tuesday unfolded under a sky that seemed to tell tales of perfection. The sun shone brightly, the sky was clear, and not a single cloud dared to interrupt the tempest I was ready to create. With great attention to detail, I adorned myself in my new ensemble, meticulously applied my makeup, and shared a tender goodbye kiss with Damon as he set off for his day at work. "You look nice," he remarked, his gaze drawn to my earrings. "Are you ready for the big gathering today?" "I just had a delightful lunch with a client," I replied with ease. Just an ordinary moment. In the stillness of the moment, a soft vibration stirred in his pocket. "A narrative," he swiftly hushed, "wishing you a wonderful day ahead, filled with memorable moments." He spoke, his mind wandering elsewhere. I made my way to the condominium development, where Melissa awaited in the lobby. She appeared anxious, yet managed to conceal it with a cheerful grin. She embraced me with a fierce grip, the scent that once brought comfort now twisting my insides. "Oh, how I've longed for you," she expressed, and the heartbreaking truth was, I could sense her sincerity. In her twisted world, she could deceive me at the core, while still professing her love for me. I, too, was not honest, deliberately playing with my earrings. Her gaze darted toward them, then swiftly shifted elsewhere. "Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. Would you like to explore the model unit?" Once upon a time, we were guided by a charming sales representative through a magnificent three-bedroom condo. The floor-to-ceiling windows revealed a breathtaking view of the lake, making the experience truly enchanting. During the tour, I engaged thoughtfully, inquiring about property values, HOA fees, and security features, embodying my role seamlessly. "What are your thoughts?" In the quiet of the master bedroom, I turned to Melissa, taking advantage of the moment while the sales rep stepped away to give us some space to talk. "It's stunning," she confessed, gliding her fingers over the smooth marble surface. "Are you certain this is the perfect place for you and Damon?" "It primarily consists of individuals and pairs who do not have kids." "How intriguing that you would mention that," I responded, keeping my tone relaxed. "What methods can you use to understand the demographic composition?" "Oh, it's simply from being around here," she replied swiftly. "I observed these details." I acknowledged with a nod, shifting my gaze toward the window. "What a stunning sight to behold!" "It's likely very similar to what you would observe from your vantage point," I envision. In the glass, her reflection revealed a fleeting sense of bewilderment. "Interestingly, my building is oriented in the opposite direction." "Is that so?" "So, what was Damon's car doing parked outside your building that night?" The GPS indicated that the car was directed towards the shimmering lake. The stillness that ensued was overwhelming. As I glanced back, I noticed the life had faded from Melissa's face. "What are you saying?" She shared her secret softly. I settled against the windowsill, feeling at ease and composed. On a Tuesday night, 3 weeks ago, at precisely 3:17 a.m., I received a notification from our insurance app that Damon's car was parked close to your building. I made my way there and witnessed you handing him his keys. She took a deep breath. "Corinne, let me share the tale with you." "Oh, I have no doubt about that. As a visionary leader, your imagination knows no bounds. Crafting narratives is your forte." I inched forward. "However, prior to weaving your narrative, it's important to understand that I've already perused the emails. I have knowledge of the offshore accounts. I've heard whispers about the intentions to put our home on the market." Her eyes sparkled with wonder. "What was the way you—" "I've noticed the earrings that belonged to my grandmother in your Instagram post," I said, as I gently touched my own earrings. "Just so you know, these are replicas. They truly are captivating, don't you think?" Melissa settled onto the edge of the bed, her facade beginning to unravel. "There's more to it than meets the eye." "Not at all? Are you really involved with my husband? So you haven't been envisioning a future together without my knowledge? You chose not to embrace gifts that carried a shadowy past, ones that belonged to others before they found their way to you?" Her voice barely above a whisper, she declared her love for him, as though that single statement held the weight of the world. "And he cares for me deeply." "Is that really your argument? What is love?" I chuckled, the sound piercing through the stillness of the room. "For 15 years, you held the title of my closest companion. You embraced me as I wept for my father's passing. You held the special role of my maid of honor. Is this truly how you honor that loyalty?" "I never meant to hurt you," she whispered, her voice trembling as tears cascaded down her cheeks. Another fabrication, I responded with a chill in my voice. You were fully aware of the impact this would have on me. You made a choice, believing your joy outweighed the cost of my ruin. With a gentle tap, the sales representative made their entrance. Is everything okay in this space? In fact, I responded with a smile. My friend was just sharing the intriguing reasons behind her secret plans to move into this building alongside my husband. The woman's eyes sparkled with wonder. Perhaps it's best to allow you some space. I cut in. No need for that. Our journey begins now. But first, I reached for my phone and made the call. Hey, Damon. Indeed, I'm here at the condo development alongside Melissa, the one you've been sharing glances at together. Would you like to be a part of our gathering? There are some tales we need to share. Melissa's eyes widened in disbelief as I hung up the phone. What tales are you weaving? In fostering an environment where truth can flourish, I responded. Isn't that the tale you were hoping for? Your emails suggest that you've been urging Damon to share the truth with me for weeks now. As we passed the time, I shared with the sales representative the emails exchanged between Damon and Melissa that detailed this particular unit. It's important to note that this property was under scrutiny due to questionable practices. My husband had intentions to utilize our shared resources without my awareness or agreement. The woman appeared to be in a state of unease, yet she accepted the documents. I should share this with my manager. I urged her on. Absolutely. Go ahead and give him a call right now. As Damon stepped onto the scene, 20 minutes later, he found himself confronted with a reality that was completely unexpected. Melissa sat on the bed, tears in her eyes, while I engaged in a calm conversation with the sales representative and her manager. To my surprise, David, Melissa's ex-husband, joined us after I had called him during my wait. What tales are unfolding? Damon insisted, his gaze flitting among us all. Corinne, what brings David to this place? I extended the invitation, I answered plainly. As we gather to discuss the themes of betrayal and the loss of property, it seems only fitting that everyone involved should be here to share their perspectives. Have you heard about the tales of property theft? Damon's complexion drained of color. I'm not quite sure I understand your point. The earrings, Damon, I said, my voice unwavering even as the fury simmered within me. The earrings that belonged to my grandmother, the ones you passed on to Melissa, the same ones you reported as missing on our insurance last year when I was searching for them. David's gaze darted to Melissa. You accepted jewelry that didn't belong to you? She insisted they weren't taken away. Damon mentioned that you never put them on, Corinne, that they were merely resting in a safe. So you acknowledge possessing them? I urged. In a dramatic revelation, I laid bare the intricate web of deceit before the gathered audience. I spoke of insurance fraud, the calculated liquidation of marital assets, the unauthorized tapping into joint funds for lavish hotel stays, and the clandestine conspiracy to manipulate real estate transactions, all while my credit score was exploited without my knowledge for mortgage applications. Damon took a step closer, his hands lifted in a calming gesture. Corinne, you're painting a more dramatic picture than what's actually happening. Indeed, there are emotions between Melissa and me, yet we never planned— Hold on to it. I interrupted him. Your intentions are captured in countless emails, messages, and conversations held within our walls. Did you honestly believe I wouldn't catch on to the offshore transfers? Where has the jewelry gone? The mysterious vanishings under the cover of darkness? His complexion faded, leaving him pale and shaken. Captured dialogues? A faint smile crossed my lips. For the last 3 weeks, our home has been completely wired, setting the stage for countless tales to unfold. Each exchange, each late-night call, every secret scheme, all recorded and stored on a server managed by my brother. Melissa rose unsteadily. It's important to respect others' privacy and ensure they are aware when being recorded. That's against the law. Actually, not in your own home in our state, David interjected, his attorney instincts coming to the forefront, particularly when there's reasonable suspicion of criminal activity such as theft and fraud. Damon's expression grew stern. Ah, so this explains your recent behavior. Are we being prepared for an intense showdown? What is it that you seek, Corinne? Wealth? What about the house? What is justice? I responded with ease. Indeed, the residence, a portion of all shared assets, encompassing those overseas accounts, along with my grandmother's cherished earrings, must be restored. I glanced over at Melissa. Regarding your situation, I've shared with your company's board the proof that you utilized company resources seeds for your personal relationship, which includes taking paid sick days to meet with Damon. Sexual harassment carries significant consequences for agencies today. Wouldn't you agree? Her expression twisted in a way that spoke volumes. You're unraveling the very fabric of it all. I set her straight. The instant you chose to claim my husband and my jewelry as if they were yours, everything changed. I passed Damon a hefty envelope. Divorce papers. Last week, Barbara crafted them with care. In light of everything that's happened, their kindness truly stands out. Sign them, give back my earrings, and let's handle this matter privately. Decline, and the collected materials that reveal misconduct will be handed over to law enforcement and your firm's ethics board. Damon stood there, his expression one of disbelief. It seems like this has been in the works for quite some time. I picked up a thing or two from the finest, I said, gesturing toward Melissa. She often shared the wisdom of collecting proof before taking action. Wonderful guidance. As we all gathered in that immaculate model unit, the very space they envisioned for their fresh start, a peculiar sense of tranquility enveloped me. The pain lingered, yet it had evolved into a source of strength. With just 48 hours on the clock, I laid it out for them both, though I find it hard to fathom what could possibly be weighing on their minds. The proof is undeniable. I started to walk away, but then I hesitated at the threshold. Oh, and Melissa, I would appreciate it if you could return those earrings to me today. They hold a special place in my heart, a legacy from my grandmother that stands apart from my friendships and my marriage, truly one of a kind. Half a year had passed, and there I was, perched on the deck of my beach house, a new sanctuary acquired with the funds from selling our urban dwelling and my share of the overseas accounts. The divorce wrapped up quickly, almost unexpectedly, as Damon came to understand just how meticulously I'd recorded every detail. He had swiftly put pen to paper just a day after our clash. That evening, Melissa brought back my grandmother's earrings, placing them in an envelope with my doorman. Alongside them was a lengthy handwritten letter, a testament to her thoughts, which I never took the time to read. Some betrayals weave a narrative that transcends mere words, eluding explanation or apology. Once upon a time, a woman found herself in a precarious situation when the board uncovered her secret use of company resources amidst a passionate affair, leading to the loss of her job at the agency. It wasn't due to anything I sent. I never did that. Rather, my confrontation triggered enough concern that they decided to launch their own inquiry. Every choice we make weaves a narrative, where outcomes unfold in ways we might not foresee. Damon made the leap to Seattle, seeking distance from both of us while chasing his professional dreams. Whispers among mutual friends reveal that he pointed fingers at Melissa for the lack of discretion in their secretive relationship, as though the real issue was being discovered rather than the act of betrayal itself. Last I heard, their words had fallen silent. As I savored my morning coffee, the ocean breeze playfully tousled my hair, weaving a tale of tranquility and warmth around me. My brother Quentin came by frequently, lending a hand to set up a more straightforward security system here, just enough to provide a sense of safety, not to catch any wrongdoers. My attorney Barbara had transformed into a friend, sharing meals with me whenever she visited to inspect coastal properties for her other clients. The most unusual twist emerged from David, who was once married to Melissa. What started as a simple partnership blossomed into a true bond of camaraderie. We connected over our scars in ways that few could comprehend. We had both experienced the sting of betrayal from those we held dear, our lives turned upside down by the same woman, and we had both risen anew from the ruins. Are you still planning to join us for the bonfire tonight? His message illuminated my phone screen, drawing me into a moment of anticipation. Absolutely, I said, a smile creeping onto my face despite my best efforts. We were just two souls navigating life, neither of us prepared to embark on that journey together. Yet, there was a certain solace in sharing moments with someone who needed no clarifications, no history to unfold. He was aware, and so was I. That was a fitting conclusion for the moment.